welcome back to another video. Now this is going to be a special one, and it is going to be a two-parter because today it is now 5 to 6 on Friday morning and we are heading up to Esnes Quarry for Octopus Bait Social. Now I am absolutely buzzing with this one. I've got an hour and 55 minutes. There's a couple of us meeting at the cafe just down the road for some breakfast first. But yeah, I'm going to get on the road and we will see you at the cafe. Well, we come out 8th in the draw. However, I have got my third choice swim. So I'll just flip the camera around a minute and show you. So I'm in peg 4. And I've got a lovely bit of water. And there's definitely fish feeding just out here. When we did a lap of the lake when we got here, well, we're finally in the swim. Come out 8th in the draw, but I did get my third choice of swim. So I'll just flip the camera around and show you where we are. Well, this is the water I've got to play with. This is peg 4. Kit is everywhere at the minute. It's just a mess. But this is the swim now. Lovely lake, and we are in peg 4, the boat. Now, as you can see, a lot of water to play with, and then when we did the lap as a group when we first got here, there was fish feeding just out around here. So just going to get the rods out, get the marker rod out, have a little feel around and see what we can find up there. But all in all, mega happy with the swim, and yeah, I think I'm on fish. So yeah, just gonna get the rods out. I'll get the rods out ready, get the marker rod out, and I'll have a little lead around, see what I can find. Well, just had a little lead around, and if you can see, that is my marker float. So that's 15.5 wraps towards this first chimney breast, wherever it is, this one here, and that is 42 foot of water, and that's 15.5 wraps out. So there's old Benny. Go on, son. Where's he fishing? Over there. But yeah, 15 wraps out, 15.5 wraps. I'm gonna stick a load of boilie around it, and then I'm gonna find. I've had 2 fish that have just cruised through, literally probably 2 or 3 rod lengths out. One was a little common, but one was a decent 20-pound mirror. So I'm just going to stick some boilies out there. I'm then going to find a spot just in the margin down to my right for 1 rod, and I'm going to fish 2 rods towards my marker float. But yeah, the faff of that marker float, because I forgot, and bear in mind I'm like 2.5 to 3 hours away from home, I forgot my marker float boom, which has got the big ring on, so I've had to use my adjustable zig boom, which has got a small ring on, which I think my knot kept getting stuck in, so it's been alright palaver. But it's out there, We're fishing 42 foot of water, 15.5 wraps, 2 rods, and that is just buoy over the top. So let's go. Right, 2 left-hand rods are sorted, left-hand rod, middle rod sorted. My right-hand rod, I've done my 9 wraps, and that is there, and that's 21 foot of water. So we're basically half the depth there than we are over there. So I've seen 2 fish show out literally where that marker float is. So I'm just going to mix a spawn mix up, and I'm going to get maybe 10 spawns out there. I've seen fish there. I've thrown a stick like you would have seen. Thrown sticks probably around about 2 to 3 kilos out to my main spot, where I've seen lots of fizzing activity. And then I'm going to spawn, like I said, I'll make a spawn mix. I'll show you what I'm going to put in it and how I make my mix, and then we'll get it out there. So in my spot mix, this is just boilie. I've got some 16mm swarm, some 16mm butter crunch, and some 16 and 20mm marine haze. I soaked them in haze liquid and tap water for about 3 days. Now I've mulched some of them up with my hands, just in between my fingers, and as you can see, you got all different sizes plus whole boilies. Obviously there's quite a little bit of liquid, and with the lake being deep, I want to, add some weight to this mix so that it can get down, because where I'm going to be fishing this is 21 foot of water. So in goes full tin of sweet corn, liquid as well. I've got some 8mm pellet, a bag of the marine haze eruption mix. I'll add probably 3/4 of a bag. Then I'm going to give it a helping of marine haze oil. And we give that a nice mix around. Now to that mix, you can also see I've added some hemp. Now I've added 4 whole scoops. Now that hemp I've cut myself with a lot of chilli and a lot of salt after it's boiled. So I'm going to mix that around. And that there is my spod mix. Nice and heavy, and it's going to sink down to the bottom very quick. Well, everything is sorted. I say that, rods are out. You can see behind me, bivvy is up. Now, my left and my middle rod are out to my spot at 15.5 wraps. And I've just at the minute just got on my right hand rod, I've just got an adjustable zig out. And the fish were in front of me. It was the first rod I put out. I just chucked it out, just purely for the fact that the fish were, you can see them cruising around, so I've just wanged a zig out there as far as I could, and had it just I've got it about a foot under the surface. So liner. But yeah, hopefully I spotted out to the, like you would have seen out on my right hand rod spot. I'm not going to put a rod on that until this evening, and I think that spot I'm just going to fish through the night. I'm not going to fish it through the day. And I've also baited up a little spot in my left hand margin. Now you can see the old rods are out. My bait, the rig I'm actually using is just a multi-rig. Now, because on this venue you're not allowed any metal wear onto the hooks, so I've just got a 12-inch boom, coated braid, down to a size 6. I've actually got 2 cranks on, just because they're my favourite hook pattern, and I've got a Jaffa Cake pop-up on one and a white chocolate pop-up on the other. So yeah, hopefully we can nail a fish on that. But I think it's time to sit back. It's now 3 o'clock. One of the lads has had a fish, 22 pounds, so, which is Liam, which is an absolute banging fish, so well done, mate. If you do watch this, I will include some of them photos now. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to bag ourselves our first Esnes carp. Well, it is now just coming up 5 to 8, and it's been an uneventful day really in my swim. I mean, in most of our swims there's only one guy that has had a fish, but yeah, I mean, it has been quiet all day until the last sort of hour, where I've seen probably near on 20 shows up here. But yeah, I mean, I've come off some of the spots. I'll talk you through what I've done. So I was fishing towards these chimneys, however now my left hand rod is on a spot right around the margin, which is why I've had to move the rods forward. As you can see, I've had to move them forward, so it's going to be a wader job if I get a run, or when I get a run. So that's around the corner in about 19-20 foot of water. The middle rod is out on a zig, pretty much where that duck is. There's another fish show over there. And that's about 18 inches, sort of 1.5 foot, 2 foot under the surface. And then my right hand rod is towards that green building, and I'm about 9 wraps out in, it's about 40 foot. So feeling confident now. I've started seeing a bit more action up here. You could say, oh well, you know, the fish are 40 foot off the bottom. Well, they've definitely been showing in the left hand margin, which is why I've got a rod there, and that's 20 foot, 21 foot. So now hopefully there's big pressure drops coming in tonight and tomorrow night. So I think I'm in a good area Yeah, rods are out. I've put probably I've put probably a kilo of bait over the left hand rod and about a kilo over the right hand rod. I think the plan tomorrow, if they do show up on the surface again, I'm going to put 2 zigs out, adjustable zigs, and I've got a load of slop that I'm going to spot over the top of them. But yeah, for now, it's food time, I'm hungry, rods are out, barbecue is on. Look at that. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy the view. Need to get the front on the bivvy because it is due to rain tonight. But yeah, also check out this new marker distance stick cord from Carpenter Essentials. You get 3 of these. So like on my left hand rod I'm fishing 11 wraps, and then to the orange marker, which is about a third, to one of them onto halfway, and then I'm 11 foot on my last one. So yeah, check it out. Head over to Carpenter Essentials, place your order. Don't forget to use discount code CurlyT for 10% off. So yeah, get at it. Well, it certainly isn't the biggest resident of the lake. However, we do have our first Esnes Quarry carp. How about that? Absolutely cracking little fish. Absolutely buzzing. Only a little one, probably only about £12, but cracking little fish. Caught on a zig about 18 inches under the surface in 40 foot of water. So yeah, on a bit of yellow foam, soaked in Octopus baits, marine haze bait spray. So yeah, mega. I'll slip it back and get the zig back out there and see if we can get another one. Well, good morning. No, it was a quiet night, not gonna lie, very quiet. I mean, they were showing all over me last night. Like, I was awake most of the night. I think I slept from about 1 till about 2:30, but it's just constant shows. Like, so obviously with 1, potentially 2 nights left, I don't know whether to just put a big bed of bait out, fish it, or whether to just potentially go for a walk and see if there's any other areas that I can see fish. But again, there's only been one other fish out, which is 6:20 this morning. I had mine, it must have been about 3 o'clock. But yeah, I mean, there's not been a massive amount of activity, so. But saying that, we do have a big pressure drop. It's going from about 1,020 to 1,003, I believe it is. So hopefully that will push them down and get them on the munch. I am today, however, I think I'm gonna chuck some adjustable zigs out, and I do have a load of sloppy spot mix with me, so I know a lot of the time you do pick up the smaller fish, but there is going to be occasions where you do pick up one of the better ones, which any fish I'm well happy to catch. So that is the plan. I'm still going to leave one rod on the bottom today, and I'm just going to pick, I don't know, maybe 10 wraps, chuck 2 adjustable zigs out, different colour foam, different colour depth, and then just spot a load of slop over the top of it. If I find the depth that they're at, then I'll put 2 at that depth. I only have 2 adjustable zigs, which is a little bit annoying. But what I might do is potentially bring my bottom rod in and just put out like a short 4 or 5 foot zig, fixed zig, out on the spot as well. Because obviously all that sloppy spot that I'm spotting is just going to fall through the water column, and eventually, you know, there's not any big particles in it. I think the biggest particle in it is probably a little bit of sweet corn and some hemp, and that's just going to end up settling down on the bottom. So potentially even pick one up on that. But yeah, that's the plan. I'm just going to have a cup of tea first, and yeah, just taking a scenery. So I've just tied up another zig for my adjustable zig. There I've got a size 6 crank, yellow aligner, black bit of foam, which I'm going to squeeze into a load of marine haze oil slick, and then I've got a 3 foot of Carp Essential zig and floater line down to an overhand loop and an anti-tangle sleeve. So that is going to go onto the end of my adjustable zig and get it out there, and hopefully spot a load of slop over the top of it. So I'm just going to run through my sloppy spot mix a minute. Now in this bucket here is just a kilo of crumbed up marine haze and a kilo of eruption mix. So that is my dry ingredients. Now I've made a wet part to my spot mix as well, which in here is a tin of sweet corn, a tin of rice pudding, some hemp, and then just some oil, some of the marine haze oil, and that is actually starting to ferment. So I'm going to add that in there. I'm just going to rinse that bucket out. Obviously make sure we get all that goodness. So if the sweet corn and the hemp I've liquidized, and then in, just going to go a tin of sweet corn and the juice, and then in this bucket is a load of hemp. So I'm actually going to use some of the liquid from the hemp as well. And give this a mix around. Make sure you get to all the corners of the buckets. Oh, whole boilie. Cram that one up. And that there now is my sloppy spod mix. And I'm going to let that sit for 10 minutes just to let the pellet and the boilie absorb any liquid that they can. Then I'll test the consistency again, and then potentially even top up with some more hemp liquid if I need it. And then we'll just spawn that over the top of our zigs. Well, apologies for the lack of updates. It's now just coming up 3 o'clock on Saturday. The lake really is, it's shut down since probably 9 o'clock this morning. I was getting shows all over me. And only probably for the last 2 hours maybe, there's started to be some shows out to my right. It is water that I can access, so yeah, I've got a bait out there. I spent the day really just finding spots. I mean, I thought I found some decent spots yesterday, but one of the spots in 40 foot of water, 42 foot, and it just wasn't, when you've got carp showing on the top, they're 42 foot away from your hook bait, which I've found a spot for my left hand rod, which is probably 5 or 6 wraps out from peg 3. So I think about a 11 wrap chuck from here, and that's about 14 feet. So got a nice clean area there. I went round to peg 3 and spawned a load of bait out and a load of boilie. So I've put that rod out on a yellow lemon sherbet pop-up. So, sorry, lemon meringue, lemon sherbet, you know what I mean. But yeah, that's out on a lemon meringue. Then I've got the middle rod out on a zig at 10 wraps. That's the area I had mine off last night, or this morning shall I say. And then my right hand rod I've got just down in the margin, literally about here, just purely for the fact that I did see a fish show there probably about an hour and a half ago. So I've put some boilie out there, just straight boilie, and yeah, the rods are all out. That is on a Jaffa cake, the right hander. The zig has got, it's an adjustable zig. It's currently at 42 feet, and it is 17 foot off the bottom. And I'm just going to keep playing around with that, playing around with the depth. Every maybe 20 minutes, just go up, pull an extra foot or 2 foot of line off the reel and bring that up until I'm within a couple of feet of the surface, and then I do have some slop left, so I may even spot some of that over the top. But for now, the rods are out. The kettle is slowly boiling. But I have pot noodle, a cup of tea. Yeah, just stick the radio on and just keep my eyes on the water. Well, not really much happening, to be fair. It's been a very quiet day. I think realistically this lake is a pretty hard lake to fish. I mean, the fish have been showing all over the top of us for the last hour, and I've got zigs 18 inches under the surface, so it is a big pressure, excuse me, it's a big pressure drop tonight. So I've got one in the margin still, got the one over to the left. Now I've got a adjustable zig out in front of me that's, yeah, like I say, 18 inches under the surface, so just gotta keep them crossed and hope that either I pick one up on that zig, or, you know, the pressure pushes them down and they do get on the feed, but who knows. Wow. Wow is all I can say. It's just gone 11:15 and I've had an absolute ripper. And what a beautiful fish. It's an absolute beast. Come on, girl. Hey, come on, girl. Wow. Absolutely wow. I am blown away. Right hand rod, 4.5 wraps, Jaffa cake pop up. I am speechless. Absolute beauty. Water's on the camera lens, but who cares? Look at that. You get her in the margin for the retainer and get sort of some proper photos. Well then, it's now 5 to 7. I had this bite about 10 minutes ago. Again, right hand rod in the margin. There we go. Another beautiful mirror. 2112. Yeah, honestly, made up with these. Absolutely cracking fish. The scales are just, they're just their own pattern, aren't they? You know? Jaffa cake pop up, doing it everywhere. Just spin him round. And there you go, there's the other side. Just as pretty as the first one, but yeah. Absolutely mad. Just gonna slip him in a retainer for a minute. Yeah, old Johnny around here, take some proper photos. Well, that is session over. It's just gone 12:30. Car is packed. I was going to stay the extra night, but you know, I've had a good session. It's hard fishing here. You know, I've had 3 fish. you know, common on the first night, which was, you know, a great confidence booster, and then 2 cracking 20-pound mirrors. You know, blown away by them really, but it hasn't been the best for footage, admittedly, but you know, I think a lot of us on the social expected, you know, this lake's fish a little bit easier with the amount of fish in here, but I don't think there's 500 to 600 fish in there personally, so I feel like there would be a lot more movement, you know, people all around the lake getting action, liners, you know, just seeing fish cruising, but there was nothing down the far end. 2 fish on the Friday, and that was it. You know, I don't think anyone really had anything to go off, so it's been hard. You know, there's 5 fish out in total. I had 3, and then there was 2 out down the far end, down the shallower end on the first day, which, you know, for a social you'd expect a little bit more fish to, you know, quite a few more fish to come out, but sadly it wasn't to be, and I don't think it was down to anyone's angling, you know. I think it was just the fact that the fish weren't there. But it's time now for me to make just over a 2-hour journey home. So if you have liked this video, then please do hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and make sure you stick around for videos to come. Thank you very much for watching.